Why use a light meter? Out of the gate, a dedicated handheld meter is more accurate than what's built into your camera. A light meter can even read exposure with flash, something no camera can do on its own. Light meters are fast, saving you time over digital guess and check methods for proper exposure. Light meters help improve your photographic technique. Once you have a good sense of how exposure works, a light meter can help you actualize the image that's in your head. Now, unlike internal light meters found in most cameras, dedicated units allow the user to program their desired shutter speed, aperture value, and ISO setting. The photographer is able to prioritize two of these variables, with the third accurately recommended by the meter. These calculations are performed using specialized measures of reflected or incident light. With reflected metering, illumination bounces off of the subject and scene and is interpreted from the position of the camera. Landscape and architecture photographers take readings from the corners and center of the scene, then finalize exposure settings based on an average. With long exposure work or other applications that don't play well with exposure preview, this can produce incredible imagery in a fraction of the time of digital guess and check.
All right, so I'm going to use reflected metering to figure out what my shutter speed needs to be. I've already selected ISO 500 as my light sensitivity. I'm going to shoot everything here at f8 to keep foreground and background nice and sharp. I'm going to meter from each corner and the center to get a nice average for the exposure. So for our shots on the street, we knew we were going to do ISO 500. I knew I wanted this at f8. Meter was telling us 125th of a second, and I'd say that's about right. This is a really even, nice, neutral exposure. If we could want to work with it a little bit in post, no problem, but bang, right out of the camera, we got proper exposure. We did another option where we tried something at slower exposure, kept ISO 500, stopped the lens down to f32, and the meter was coming back at about 1/10 of a second. And we were able to handhold that. It lets us create some interesting motion blur, give a little bit more drama to the shot.
Incident metering, probably the most common mode for studio work, is performed at the precise location where the light and subject meet. When photographing a person in a studio or other controlled light setting, the meter should be placed closest to the subject where proper exposure is most critical. If the meter has a lumisphere, it should be properly positioned for incident metering. Whether you use constant lighting or strobes, incident metering offers a highly accurate, time-saving way to get the right exposure every time.
One of the things that I know, like in the studio, I want to make these crisp portraits with Crystal. Thank you, Crystal, for being here. Things I know, like I already know like the limitation in my camera. This camera only syncs at 125th of a second. It's the fastest it goes. To make this as crisp as possible, I want to sync there. So that variable is already out. I think I'm going to shoot this at about ISO 500. So I'm going to use the meter to figure out what the best aperture is going to be for this setup. So we're doing incident metering, and how that works is incident meter reading is made at the precise location where light and the subject meet. So I'm going to flip over the lumisphere here because I don't want to use the reflector. I'm going to come up over to the subject, make sure that my shutter speed is in the right spot. So I'm setting the time value here, the shutter speed, to 125th of a second. I'm doing that because that's the maximum sync speed that my camera will do with the strobe, with the flash. Then I know I'm going to be at ISO 500. So the meter is going to help me fill in what the f-stop should be. Right, so I'm bringing this right to Crystal. All right, so this is coming back at about f4. So I'm going to stop my lens down to f4, and we'll make our first shot. All right, how you doing, Crystal? All right.
Now, while we've mostly discussed the ways a handheld light meter can benefit still photography, they are also invaluable tools for filmmakers and moving image artists. Models like the Sekonic L308XU Flashmate invite the cinematographer to select shutter speed or shutter angle and have aperture or ISO recommended. More advanced meters like the Sekonic Speedmaster L858DU offer additional functions like internal memory for repeat setups, spot metering, and high-speed sync support. For more on light meters, photography, and all things imaging, visit B&H. And if you liked our video, please click and subscribe. I'm photographer David Flores. See you next time.